Hey guys, welcome in, everybody. It's Mikey Wine here on a Tuesday, actually. You guys know me as Gundam Money Works, and we are live again. This is part three of the Tamiya Lexus LFA project, and we're getting into the little details of the interior. That's what I've been doing mostly this week, and I got dashboards, some door panels painted, and some other stuff we'll go over here in a minute. So, yeah, Tuesdays this week a little bit different. Wednesday I'm going to be busy, so decided to do it a day early, and we'll see if we get anybody jumping in on the chat here in just a minute. But for the meantime, we're just going to hang out, and you guys can look at my face because nobody's watching so far. So we'll see. We'll get to it here in a sec here. So let me just go down to. Might as well go down to the bench. You see what I got here. So I got the basic structure without the body on the car here. The suspension and the powertrain basically is not glued into this yet. I just have it kind of sitting here on it later on when I make sure I've got everything that I'm supposed to have on it before I actually glue it in place. I will do that then. But I do have the door panels here. These are finished. There's a little bit of imperfection here on the bottom, but that's not going to be seen because that's just where I was kind of holding on to this part, because when it glues on there, you're not even going to see that piece. That's just really for that tab or that border on the bottom of this here. You see this lower border is just for gluing it on. But yeah, so it looks like we threw everybody for a loop because nobody's chiming in right now. Nobody's coming in. Nobody's watching. That's fine. We'll just keep hanging out until somebody does, and then we'll go to the close-up. So I've got the center console pretty much done. I got a little bit of detail work to do with some of the buttons and switches on that. Let me just zoom in. And hey, we finally got somebody in. How's it going? Yeah, I know it's Tuesday. Sorry for the confusion. But anyway, I got the center console. This is just sitting here. It's not glued in place. I just was kind of test fitting everything. But I got to do some of those buttons and switches on that in black, and I will do that tonight as well after I show off the door panels here. And it looks like one jumped in, one jumped out, and now we're back to one again. So, yeah, not a whole lot done except a lot of little detail work. These little door panels took quite a bit of masking to get these sorted out. The handles were a separate piece that I had to paint and had to strip. I actually stripped the metallic coating off of the original part. There's some other parts that I've also done the same with. These are the struts that hold up the spoiler in the back. You can see most of the metallic finishes off of those. I soaked them overnight in purple power, and then I had to do a little bit of elbow grease to get the rest of it off. And then this is the three-sided exhaust nozzle that goes in the back. I've also stripped that because I could have stayed with the chrome or the kind of a muted chrome that was plated, the plated parts that came with the kit. But in order to match the titanium finish that I was going for, or I painted some other things with, I had to strip them so I can paint those and actually it'll look identical. So anyway, yeah, I guess Tuesdays is throwing everybody because people pop in and then they're gone. So I'm just going to keep talking about this. So here's the door panels. This is the first one, actually the second one that I finished. I'll flip that over so it's right side up. I think they came out quite well. I used a little bit of the Tamiya accent, panel line color, just the regular brown. It's not the dark brown. For some of the panel lines on the actual leather trim, the main tan color of the trim, and then the outside border, that lower section here below the speaker, that's done in German gray. The top quarter is done in gloss black, which is for the carbon fiber that would normally be in place in that area. So that's done in gloss black. So both those door panels are finished. And like I said, I still have some detail work to do on the center console, some of the buttons and stuff. So I'm going to paint those with using enamel this time instead of the lacquers, because I was having a difficult time, and I'm still having trouble because these buttons are so small. So I'm going to have to do a lot of precise little hand painting. But the reason I'm going with the Tamiya enamels is because in case I make a mistake, I can easily take it right off with enamel thinner, just like a panel line wash, and it won't affect my lacquer paint. So that way I can it's a little bit lower risk than painting the black lacquer on there. And if I really mess it up, then I've got to touch up the titanium finish. So I'd rather just wipe it off with some enamel thinner and then taking a second attempt at whatever, those switches. There's quite a few of them. I'm going to just pop this piece off so you can see it. We zoom in here. So there, you see all those round circles. Those are all switches that have to be painted black. There's a little bit of detail work to be done on either side. Some other switches that are kind of on either side of that little mouse pad, that square, black square in the center there. That's a little mouse pad. Not a pad, but a mouse control that actually controls the navigation screen, the heads-up unit that's in the dash. Because again, this car was designed it was sold in 2012, but it was under the design phase for 10 years prior to that. So the technology that went into the final product was based off of those things that happened 10 years prior. So you had the little mouse control pad rather than a touch pad like they do on most of their newer cars. So there's some older technology there, but still state of the art considering what the final product looks. So, hey, Braindid, what's going on, man? Nice to see you. Twitch for your annual Twitch vibe check. How many you prove that you're chill like that? Okay. Good to have you. Thanks for chiming in. Appreciate it. Appreciate the support. Anyway, let me move this over. I'm going to open up the booklet here, and then we'll see. I've been kind of jumping around a bit because I've had to paint some parts and then come back to other steps to make sure that I'm not missing something. Primarily tonight, I want to work on those buttons and switches there on the center console, and then I also have to do some masking on the actual dash pad. I've painted the top portion of it German gray, and then I've also got the the combination meter hood that goes in place right here, goes in this section here. That's a separate piece, and I'll show you that here in a second. And then the steering wheel, there's a lot of little details that I got to paint on the steering wheel, but primarily the top of the dash is gray. Then there is some carbon fiber, which will be in gloss black down the center. And then the lower portion is done in the tan color that represents the rest of the interior color. So the tan is a charcoal gray, basically German gray carpeting and trim with the tan and black accents, or carbon fiber accents. So because we don't have a carbon fiber texture or anything like that, it's just represented in gloss black at this scale. So that's what I'm going to do. But what I have to do is basically mask off the top half so I can paint the second half and then mask that off and then paint the lower half in that tan color. But that will happen in steps. The steering wheel, let's see, yeah, really small. So I've already painted the airbag, which is German gray as well. And then I've got to do some titanium around that. Then I also have some tan. Basically, the grips on either side are going to be done in that tan leather. So that color has to be painted in. And again, I'm not sure if I can even mask that. I'm probably going to have to do it all by hand at this scale. It's just so small. One of the things I did last week was I was talking about the different various pieces of this steering column. And I have this here is the, what's up, Julius? Good to have you. I have this piece here that is the paddle shifters. And somewhere during the broadcast, I accidentally threw it away because I have a habit of, after I've clipped a few nubs and stuff, and I've got some on the paper here, I just pick up the whole instruction booklet, shake it off in the trash, and then keep going so I don't have all this, little pieces of plastic everywhere. Well, I didn't realize that I didn't realize that I had those paddle shifters were on the booklet because they were a white piece of plastic, and so it kind of blended in, and I just tossed it. So later on in the week, this week, I was looking for those pieces, and I was like, "Where is this piece? Where are the paddle shifters?" Fortunately, I hadn't taken the trash out yet, so I went through. Hey, what's up, Nick? I went through the trash, and I was able to find it. It was sitting on top of one of the paper towels that I've been cleaning brushes with and stuff. So I found the piece, thank God, and painted it. I got a little bit of touch up to do on that. Then I can assemble the column. This is the steering column. I still got to do the turn signals and the wiper control sticks. I'm going to paint those black. The rest is done in German gray. Just little details like that. Here is the how's it going, Julius? Yeah, how's it going, guys? I know it's Tuesday, throwing everybody off a little bit, but like I said, tomorrow I won't be in town. I'll be fairly local, but I won't be home. So anyway, this is the combination meter hood. So there's going to be a decal that goes in there with all the combination meter details and that. But I had to hand paint these two titanium switch assemblies on either side because they're not just it's not just a knob, it's an actual kind of like a trim piece around each side. They look the same, just opposite sides. So that was a little bit of detail work needed to be done. Got that. What else did I do? I glued in the AC condenser. That's this thing in the front, and then I've got these two other coolers here that are mounted to the frame. I'm not even sure what those were for because I know the radiators are in the back, and there's actually, speaking of those, I've got those right here. So the radiator tanks are done in a flat aluminum, and then the rest is done in semi-gloss black. So all those pieces are going to go on this. Now this, I've also glued in let me take this off so I can show this. I've also glued in that rear glass. I was masking that off and painting that, was for paint, I should say. I masked it off and actually painted it, took it out, and installed that. So this is also basically the trunk and the rear package tray with the glass panel there, and that will all be enclosed in this. Once the shell goes on, then you'll have the back window over the top of that. So there's actually two panels of glass in the rear of this car. So I'm just going to set this back down just for safekeeping. The way these go on is they're just going to pop on here. That lower border is what is used to mount these. I'm going to see if I can do this real quick so you can see, and then I'll hold this up. So there are the door panels. How's it going? Must have fat finger tonight. Typing is a challenge. Yeah, don't worry about it, Julius. It's Tuesday. Normally I do my show on Wednesdays, but I'm just glad you guys joined in because when I started the broadcast, there was nobody. There wasn't a single soul, and then a couple of people popped in for like a second or two, and then they were gone. So it's nice to have some regulars in here. So like I said, this centerpiece was going to pop right off. I've got to do some painting on the switches here in a minute. But I like the way the door panels came out. I think they look really nice with the German gray that kind of blends into the lower portion of that door panel and the carpet. It's kind of dark. It's a little hard to see on camera, but it is gray. So that's the way those will go. And then the shell, when the shell goes on, it'll seal off all those areas, those negative areas you're not supposed to see, and should look nice. After looking at the way this goes together, I've been trying to consider whether or not I should cut the side windows out. Let me just grab this glass piece real quick so I can show it all. Okay. So, after spending all this time doing all this detail work what does that Nick say? It says, I gave in and decided to watch even though it's not Wednesday. I know. You're giving me a hard time about that. Sorry, Nick. I swear, next time it'll be on Wednesday. So after doing all this work on the interior, it's going to be kind of hard to see it with the side windows essentially rolled up. You see what I'm talking about? So I'm considering trying to figure out how I can cut, if I want to cut these out and open up the windows, but I'm not sure yet. I don't know if I want to really hack into this glass piece because it's a really nice, and I've been able to keep it really clean and without any scratches. So the last thing I want to do is screw that up. So still haven't decided if I'm going to do that or not. I do have some, these are the seats we had yesterday or last week, but they weren't painted yet. So I've got the tan color on there. I've got some switches here that need to be painted. I'm going to go over these in black first and then the titanium because the black base seems to work best underneath the titanium. If I go straight over this tan color, it just doesn't give it that much, that pop. So these are just little steps, step by step, little baby steps. So I'm going to put the magnifiers on here. I got 2 jars of my Tamiya enamel. I got a white and a black because there is a small little, I've got some other painting to do here. This is a combination of the brake actuator, the ABS actuator, basically all the brake lines going to it. And then there is a brake fluid reservoir that needs to be painted white. And then there's another little reservoir that has to be, it might be the clutch, but it has to be painted. I think it's white or black. I can't remember what, that might remain black, but there's like 3 little pieces that have to be painted separate color, different colors on each one. So it's going to be working on all those little details. I had to stop and think, wait, is it Wednesday? Mike is streaming. Yeah, I know. I tried to put it out there. I put a couple of reels out there trying to tell everybody that this week was going to be Tuesday, but I was also on the show me what you bought, the Bot Factory they had their little live stream on Sunday, and I was a guest on that, and I announced that it would be on Tuesday. So I tried to get it out there, let everybody know, but for those that didn't know, I was going to be on that was an Instagram live stream. So I'm hoping those guys can find it. I'm pretty sure they're probably looking on Instagram, not realizing that I don't broadcast on Instagram. But it is what it is. So what should I do first? I think I'm going to try to do the switches on this center console piece here. So that means I'm going to do these black switches, and hopefully I tried using a needle, the tip of a needle, but it's just I can't get enough paint to collect in one place, and even with the enamel to effectively do these switches are little round dots. So I've got to try to do them with a brush. I've got one of my nicest brushes that has a really sharp tip. So it's going to take a little bit of, as close as I can get with my magnification, and try to do these little switches. So I've already thinned this a little bit. This is a Tamiya gloss black enamel. Yeah, this is not going to be fun. But the reason I'm doing these in enamel is if I do make a mistake, I can go back and just swipe this off with some enamel thinner and give it another try. Or even, clean up a little bit of if I do fudge, like I just did on this one, I just jacked that up badly. This is a learning curve on this because these switches are so small. So first one down, first mistake. I'm going to, I've got a Q-tip here, and because this is enamel, I can go ahead and just use some thinner and just take it right off and start over again. That's why I chose to do it this way, because if I use my lacquer paints, if you make a mistake, then you're just touching up the other colors, and I'd rather just swipe it off and try again. So hopefully I can get this to work. Otherwise, if anybody's got a suggestion, man, these are tiny. And the only other drawback with this is if I do need to use an enamel wash over this, I won't be able to clean that up because it will take off the rest of the enamel paint that's on here unless I clear coat it first. So it's basically this. On Sunday, I was on the Show Me What You Bought live stream, and I just jacked that up again. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I'm hoping with these, because these Q-tips are pointed at one end, I'm hoping that I can, if I get close enough, I can actually just remove kind of like a reverse wash. I can kind of take some of that paint away without swiping off the entire switch. Just like if I do gosh, this is so hard. What I'm trying to do is just dab the tip of this brush to get nope. Take it off. I'm trying to get enough paint on the tip of this brush so that it flows off and creates a droplet, which is essentially, excuse me, perfect for a round switch. Like I said, I tried a tip of a needle, but it just was too small, and the paint wouldn't flow off of it. It just kept kind of wicking up. Oh. I've got a little bit of enamel thinner on that Q-tip, so if I make a mistake, what I'm doing is I'm just going right back over and pulling it away with that Q-tip. I'm also kind of relying on the paint a little bit on the tip of this brush is drying just enough to, there we go, to create some resistance. So when I do, what the hell? I just missed. Yeah. Thought I had it. That way, the droplet of paint that I'm trying to use to make, to paint that switch will sit right on the tip of the brush and not try to wick up into the brush, the rest of the brush. That seems to be working. The more and more I go back to the jar here, it's the brush is working a little bit better than it was before. Each time I give it a little dab, I get a little droplet right in the right spot. It's actually working out better as I go. I'm sorry I'm speaking, slowly because I'm really concentrating on where that paint is going. I've got my 4 times magnification glasses on, my micro mark. magnifier so I can okay, one more down. Keep going. And another small one here, and then there's 4 larger buttons just further down. Oh, I'm going to take that one off. And as that enamel begins to dry, thinner anyway, I'll have to get some more thinner on the. Yeah, I'm gonna take that second one off too. Just got too close to it and jacked it up. There we go. Save for just a start over. But at this point, it's acting kind of a panel line wash too, because it's going in, you know, whatever's left behind is actually going into the panel line around the button. So at least I can, you know, really see. Damn it. All right, I think I need to wet this just a little bit here. 1 second. Okay. I'm just wetting the Q-tip again here, because as I make these mistakes, I need to take that fin off right away. So I need just a little bit of enamel thinner. There we go. All right, let's try again. Eventually, we'll get these. There. Another interesting byproduct of this is, as I, you know, if I do make a mistake and I'm taking it off with the enamel thinner, there may be a little bit of that thinner left behind, which is actually making the paint, you know, kind of doing what I want it to do, which is collect in one single spot. Because these switches are buttons that are round. So it's kind of making the paint do kind of what I want it to do, which is form a round droplet. And then I can leave it alone and let it dry. So I'll take a look at the chat here in a second. I'm just trying to make sure. There's a lot of concentration here, so I hope I'm not missing any comments. Got 2 more buttons to do. Oh boy. 1 more. All right. I think we're good. I think the worst case, I can just take a little bit of that titanium and do a little bit of touch up there. All right, so last but not least, I wanted to clean this brush because I am going to use some semi-gloss black, the regular lacquers now, because I've got to paint some larger switches that are a little bit easier, and I'll hit those with the semi-gloss black. All right. All right, this should be fairly mixed already. I was kind of going through and pre-mixing everything tonight, the colors I knew I was going to use. If I don't have any leftover paint on my fingers, I gotta be careful. Now that I got enamel takes a little bit longer to set, so I may put this on a skewer. I got one extra here. Just so I can hold it a little easier. Actually, that's not going to work. I just have to be careful not to touch those switches I just painted. Okay. So now this is in the center here, this is a little mouse control. That's going to be done in semi-gloss black. And then I've also got two other switches here that I'm also going to touch real quick in black. All right, I gotta flip this around so I can do the other side. Okay, last but not least, the center switch here, or the center of the mouse control. Almost flipped out of my hand there. I caught it. Okay. Got a little bit of touch up to do with the titanium, but I'm happy with that so far. That was nerve-wracking. Not fun. Darn laptop, it crashed. I'm on my phone now. Oh, bummer, Julius. I didn't have a computer crash last week, but I was literally trying to bring up the intro video, getting everything ready to launch, for the live stream, and then like a screen popped up, like I was trying to load a new video and I wasn't trying to load the new intro video or something, and it wouldn't go away, and everything kind of seized up. So I literally had to go to the control manager, basically the program manager, and shut it down, force it to shut down, and then restart my StreamYard. That's why I was a couple minutes late after getting started last week. So this is titanium, super titanium, Mr. Color. It has a little bit of that gold tinge to it. So any of the titanium trim pieces I'm doing in this color. I just got to do some little touch-ups on this. A couple of those little switch areas just need a tiny bit of it's got to be stressful right before. Yeah, I know. It was kind of because I was literally just getting ready to launch. And actually, I was trying to. I actually hit go live, and I was getting ready to hit the go live button, and then my mouse went over the wrong icon or something, and it just launched a whole new screen that I didn't want, and then I couldn't get it to stop, and I was just like, oh, great. Fortunately, I was able to force it to shut down and restart it right away. So I'm just doing some tiny little touch-ups that I can see on these buttons and switches. If there's a little bit of bleed through, it's just ever so slight. All right, one more over here. Okay, I think that's going to do it. Oh, one more. Just the tiniest of little imperfections in those little, when I was using trying to create those little droplets to go on top of these switches. It's not a round dot, I can see it. Okay, I think I'm good though. I may go over that mouse control with one more coat of black, that semi-gloss black. As long as I make sure there's no lacquer thinner in my brush, and make sure it fully evaporates first. All right. Okay. So I need semi-gloss black again. Just a little bit. Tiniest of touch-ups. Trying to hold this in one hand carefully. All right. There we go. All right. Now I am going to actually, I'm going to leave it alone. I did something kind of by accident just now. That little mouse control, if you look at the actual one, the real one, there is like a trim that kind of goes around it. It's like a big mouse button kind of thing, you know, and then, but the trim, the black is on top, but then you have this kind of a trim around the edge of it. But by painting this by hand, the edges of that are still showing with the titanium underneath. So it's actually creating that trim, even though I inadvertently didn't mean to do that. It actually came out perfect. So I'm going to put this on a skewer and let this dry. Then I'm going to take the black enamel back out. I'm going to start doing these seat switches here. So here's the sides of the seat. And you can see on one side is just, you know, this side has the switch panel on it in front. So I'm going to do that whole thing in black, but I'm going to use the enamel again so I can go back over it with the Q-tip and just take off any excess. I'll try to keep that to a minimum, but I want to paint the switches black first before I go back over them with the titanium, because the black base just works better with the metallics. It seems to perform really nicely. I think I can get away with. I'm going to adjust my camera here because I'm working closer as I get close to my. Oops, I got to go the other way. As I'm working closer to my, you know, my chest here, trying to. Actually, you know what I can do? I'm going to take it off the skewer and I'll use one of these little. There, and then I don't have this stick hanging down. That's what was getting in the way. Was actually I can go back to here now. So I had this, you know, the stick in the way, and I kept fighting with it. So I was going closer, more and more to the edge of the table, trying to get away from that. But now that I've using it this way, I can still hold on to it well, but I don't have to be as close. So I'm just going to go over this in black. If I do get any excess on the edges, I'll take the Q-tip, and there is a little bit of you can see a defined border where there is a panel line essentially where this is supposed to stop. Why are you sending me a text right now? 1 second, guys. Okay, wrong. Yeah, she didn't mean to send it to me. My wife's literally in the room. Literally in the room next to me. And she's working with a new computer, and I thought she was asking me for something, but she was actually probably talking to someone else. No harm, no foul. So anyway, there is a panel line that kind of gives a defined edge where this titanium color will stop. So once I go in with the black here, I'll just run my Q-tip straight over the top of it with some of that enamel thinner, and that will take off anything that is above that where that border is supposed to be. So a pretty good job. There's a little bit of a touch-up needed, but that'll be real simple to take off with the enamel thinner. And I'm using AK's odorless enamel thinner, which is really quite easy to use. It's great stuff. I like using it for doing panel lines and like that. So we'll just dip this in there. And now I want to make sure there's not too much on there. I don't need to be soaking wet, but now we just go like this, and that will literally take off any of that excess over the top. So now I've got a nice defined border. I think that will start. There we go. Get that front edge. Yeah, and because it's enamel paint, it's real simple. Comes right off. I'm gonna do the same with the other seat. So let me just grab hold of this, and we'll do that real quick. Actually, I'll put my cap on the thinner first. I don't want to have an accident there. If I'm going to knock a bottle over, it's only going to be one, not two. All right, so we do the same here. We're just going to go over these switches. And then we'll clean them up. And then when this dries, I'll be able to go back over with the titanium, and I'll have a nice crisp, shiny titanium finish. Because I was trying to paint some of the door panel part, the actual door pull on the door had to be done in titanium, but I'd already painted it with the tan color. So when I went over it with the titanium, it just kind of looked bland. It wasn't very shiny. It almost looked opaque. So I stopped and I went back over it with black, and then I hit it again, and it was just like, wow, what a difference. It's just like any metallic. When you throw down a nice gloss black base, you end up with a really good metallic finish with your paint. All right, so now that I got that, I can go over this just like I did the other side, and this will take off any excess and make a perfect line. There we go. Now we're just going to let those dry. And actually, what I can do while I got this paint out still. Okay, on the seat backs, all right, you see the focus here. On the corner, there is the seat belt loop there on one of the upper shoulder areas. That's but that also has to be done in titanium. So again, I'm going to take this off of the skewer, and then I'll just grab it with one of my little clamps. Giovanni, what's going on, dude? Stuck at work. Sorry, dude. Yeah, sorry. And I know it's Tuesday for me. I don't know if it's Tuesday for you. Sorry you're stuck at work. But tomorrow I'm going to be busy tomorrow night. So that's why I had to change it up a little bit and go for Tuesday this week. So hand painting, anyway, this is just a black. I'm throwing down some enamel black and gloss black here so I can paint this again in titanium. And that way you'll have a really nice looking titanium finish. Okay. Almost got it all in one shot. I got a little bit of touch up to do, which means I want to take that Q-tip again, and then we'll use the sharp end of it, and I'll be able to take off a little bit of that excess. So I'm just going to let this, actually I'm going to take this off, one of these seat bottoms off, because those will just sit flat. I can use this one. I have more of these. I just don't want to take them out. So I'm going to do the other side, and then I'll clean up that one. So I'm stuck at work, huh, Julie? Well, it is what it is. Man's got to make his money. Got to make that dollar. And this is Tamiya's enamel paints, not the acrylic lacquers that everybody is typically used to. These are enamels, and do they smell? Absolutely. This stuff is pretty strong. Imagine if you were to put this through an airbrush, you would have to make sure you have good ventilation, because this stuff stinks quite a bit more than lacquer, I would say. It's kind of, maybe I'm just not used to it, but it's just like, wow, I was surprised when I opened the bottle and went, geez. Okay. So there we go. I got a little bit of touch up to do there. Whoops, almost put that on the wrong side. But I'm going to use my Q-tip again and clean that up. So let me just cap this. I'm going to clean my brush. Okay, Cobra's in. Feels bad, huh? Why do you feel bad? Feels bad because you forgot I'm not on Instagram? And you've been looking for it for the last hour? Don't worry about it, dude. It's all good, Josh. Just happy you guys were able to find me on a Tuesday. Still haven't seen show me what you bought. He's not in here yet, I don't think. If he is, he's not talking. So all right, so I'm gonna take my odorless enamel thinner here. I'm gonna grab a fresh Q-tip. Now these are the Daiso blue ones. These are the best, I think, for doing panel lines, something like that, because you got one end that's a regular round tip, and then the other one is the pointed one, and it's great for doing this kind of little work. So when, like, you want to take off a little bit of paint and a little bit of this enamel, I can just get a little soak there, and then use that fine tip and control exactly what I'm taking off. Before this has a chance to dry. Same way you would do a panel line enamel, panel line accent color or something. Same exact way. All right, so that one's done. I just had to take a little bit off, and then I got to do the same with this one. Kind of like a reverse wash. I'm just removing enamel paint. And enamels will stick to lacquers just fine as long as you let them cure properly. Nothing wrong with going over a lacquer like this with enamel. Just have to let it do its thing. All right, so that's good. Let that sit. Now, I can let these dry. Oops, let me put this over here. So I'm going to let all these black pieces dry, then I can go back over them with titanium. I don't know if I'll be able to get to them tonight because I think it'll take too long. These definitely do not dry as quickly as lacquers do. Normally I'd be able to paint this, and then about 30 minutes later I could go right back in and let me say, yeah. What? How do you say his name? Is that his name? Feels bad for Jerry Bunny. Oh, but also, yeah, I'm late. Sorry, I thought you were saying it feels bad because you showed up late. No big deals, man. Anyway, what was I saying? These definitely don't dry as quickly as lacquers. If I was doing this black in lacquer, I could probably wait about 30 minutes and then go right back over with the titanium and be just fine with it. So this is basically the center, the steering column. In front of this is where those paddle shifters are going to go, but I've also got the wiper stick and the turn signal sticks that are going to be done in black. Everything else is done in German gray, which is like a charcoal gray. So I'm just going to go over this real quick. I'm going to try to make sure I'm not off camera. Again, I'm fighting with my skewers, trying to make sure I'm still on camera. So I didn't realize I painted these all one color, and then I thought, no, wait a minute, I work on these cars. I know those like the stick The sticks, like turn signal stick and whatever, those are black. They're not gray. So I'm going to go back and just paint these by hand. Showing you what you bought. Oh, gotcha. That's an abbreviation. See, I'm not even smart enough to figure that out. It's like, now it makes perfect sense. So he's packing. What do you mean packing? Is he moving? Or is he packing like for a weekend or something like that? Or is he packing, like shipping stuff out? I don't know what you guys do. Packing orders, yeah. That's what I thought. Okay. Well, that's cool. Gotta make that money. All right, let's see. What can I do now? You know what? I'm going to switch gears here. I'm going to clean my brush, and then I'm going to try to do some masking on this dash panel. See how far I can get with that. I've only got about 30 minutes left here. Nope. Clean this brush. And I got to make some room here. Put my brushes away. Put the lid back on the lacquer thinner before you have a disaster. Okay, for those that joined in late, you can see these nice door panels. I think they came out really nice. A little bit of brown accent color just to highlight the stitching lines on the leather work, or for the tan color. The lower, this would be, well, it's upside down for you, but this is the lower part of the door. This is done in German gray, and then the trim panel here. The top is gloss black, representing the carbon fiber. So we'll set those aside. I'm going to move all this stuff aside here real quick. I'm going to get one more of those little clips out. I got one right here. So we'll do this. Now I'm going to grab my masking glass piece here and see if I can mask off this dashboard for the next layer of paint. I've already done the top. Okay, so here is, gosh, I'm looking at this through 4 times magnification. No wonder I can't see anything. All right, so here is the top of the dash, and this is German gray. It's kind of hard to see. It looks pretty black on screen, but it's actually German gray. So right down the middle, get these back on so I can see what I'm pointing at here. So the gray top of the pad pretty much goes right down to here. There's a line that goes straight across the dash all the way across. So from the top of the glove box to here, this is all carbon fiber. So that's going to be black straight across all the way to here. And it kind of wraps around the top edges here. And I've used reference photographs to see exactly where that line needs to be. So the carbon fiber, the black or whatever, is going to wrap kind of around the top here and then head on over into the A-pill area right here. Same with the driver's side. Now this is a right-hand drive car, so everything's kind of flipped backwards. But so what I need to do, these grills, the AC vents here are all going to be done in titanium. So I can dry brush those pretty easily and then use some Panaline accent color to fill in the, if I do get any into the actual, what would be the vent, I can just fill that in with some black Panaline color and get rid of that. So I'll leave those alone. I'll dry brush those later, but I can mask this off, then paint the black, then mask that off, and then do the tan, which is all the way underneath the driver's knee pad, the passenger side here with the glove box and the shin pad there. So that'll all be done in that tan color. So what I'm going to do is grab my glass mat here, start cutting some tape. Let's see exactly what I can do here to make this easy. There is a nice line where the dash pad kind of wraps around the front right before that carbon fiber. So that's a really easy line to follow. I'll do everything else in gloss black. There's also a decal that is going to go dead center here, because this is the basically the navigation or the radio head unit right in the middle. So there's a decal that's got to go there. There's a decal that has to go on the combination meter hood that's on this side, and then you got steering column, which mounts here. So I got to paint that gloss black, and then I'll have a good base to put that decal on. And then once all the paint is done, there is actually a glass piece that's going to go over the top of all of that. So you'll be able to see through that, but it'll be a nice clear glass piece. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I don't know how good it's going to turn out, but we're going to find out. So I think what I need to do, that's right. So carbon fiber, I'm going to take a look at the photo again, just to be sure. Let's see, I've got a bunch of reference photos that I've been looking at interiors and stuff like that. And I came across, let's see, where is it? I think it might be this one. Nope. There it is. Okay, so if we look closely here, let's zoom in. This is the corner of the dash. You can see the steering wheel, and you can see the vents kind of wrap around here. And then there's the carbon fiber part of the dash. And then this is the door panel here. So this piece of carbon fiber kind of comes straight over from where this line on the dash comes. This is the A-pillar here. See that? That's the A-pillar. And then the titanium from the vent kind of stops right there. And then that carbon fiber continues on in this little quarter glass all the way over here to the door. So what I'm trying to figure out is that where does this transition start on the top of the dash? Because the dash piece on the model kit goes all the way to the door here. So it includes this, even though this would be separate panels in real life. They molded this whole piece into the dash panel. So I've got to separate these two, and I got to paint this black, and then this is that charcoal gray color. Make sense? Good. I hope it does, because it makes sense to me. So I can kind of see where the vent comes around the corner here, and like I said, this is part of that they show as the dash, but even though it's separate, there's that titanium piece. So this line here is where I need to, I don't even know if you can see that. So this line in the dash that curves down is going to go straight across, and this is all going to be my carbon fiber here. And this is the titanium vent, and then the dash on both sides. It's exactly the same. You can just barely see those lines molded in there. So that's the line that I need to match with my tape. And I've talked about it long enough. Let's start taping this shit up. All right. I think it might be easiest to start with some small pieces and just yeah, Josh, don't worry about showing what you bought. You can give him a hard time because he might be busy packing customers' orders, but he said he was going to be here, so he's straight up a liar. I'm just kidding. I'm joking. But he did say he was going to be here. But that's okay. No big deals. All right. So also, let's see here how these fit. Let me grab a door panel here. So this is the passenger side. So this is going to basically go in just like that. So you can see where that black carbon fiber has to transition from the door to the dash. That piece may or may not work. I don't know. I think I'm going to have to pull this back up. It's just not the same shape, so I'm trying to get it to, because it's got to wrap around the front of this dash, but it's also got to stop right at that vent. And I'm all right. I think I'm gonna have to use a piece of 3mm just to get this corner right, and then I'll mask around it. Yeah, at least that's a nice straight line there. I need my burnishing tool here. And even if I need to touch up a little bit of that black, that'll be easy to do. It's not going to be that, it'll be harder to see against that German gray anyway. So if I do need to touch up a little bit of that black, that should be easy. Okay. That's better. So putting that piece of 3mm strip along the side here, I was able to mask what I needed to. I couldn't get the right curve with that first piece just by itself, so I had to double it up. I'll give him a hard time for you. Thanks, buddy. No worries. Are you going to use carbon fiber decals on this kit? Well, I do have a carbon fiber sheet. So the question is, and I'm going to put this on screen since I haven't done any comments on screen. So the question was, are you going to use carbon fiber on this kit? I did buy a carbon fiber sheet. Now this is a solid sheet. There are no pre-cuts or anything. It's just all carbon fiber. So let me open this up. Now I am going to consider it. If I can make it work for the top, the roof panel and the wing, it's just the pieces inside the car are so small, there's just no way to do it like on the dash and stuff. There's just no way. And make it look right, because you got a decal, then you've got to use softener just like you would anything else to try to get it to conform to irregular surfaces, and it's just going to be impossible. So this is right now it's kind of looks black, but if you get close enough, you can see the pattern. Can you see the pattern? Yeah, there you go. That's a little bit easier. So I did buy this in with the intent of using it for this roof panel here and the wing. Some of the LFAs came with actual carbon. I mean, the whole body was carbon fiber, but most of the time they were painted, where there were some special edition ones that had a carbon fiber roof and a carbon fiber wing. So that's at least what I'm going to try to do with it. If I can do more, I'll do more, but I'm not too overly worried about it. I was talking about like trying to do the steering wheel, and can you imagine trying to wrap a decal around this little thing? I mean, it just would come out looking like crap. So that's why, if I do it at all, it's going to be on a larger panel, like the roof, the wing, and I have to cut it to fit. So it's going to be a little bit of a challenge. What I may do is use a large piece of tape, put it on there first, and then I can go back, peel the tape up and use that as a template to cut my decal out. But I'm still hoping even that works out. I'm just kind of nervous about that, because it is a custom decal. It's not like it wasn't cut to fit, like for the kit. I'm actually just improvising on that. So hopefully that answer your question. Oops, where do my comments go? Jeez, sometimes they jump around whenever I click on it. Yeah, they're just too little, and it's too irregular surface. I'd have to overlap decals, and I just don't think it would really come out all that well if I did try to just do these really small areas with that carbon fiber. I just don't think it would work. So I may do one more decal along this front just to make sure that, because the dash kind of wraps around, and so I'm trying to get into that groove. And I think maybe using another 3mm. You know what, though? You're not even going to see that. It's on the underside. I'm going to leave it. The more layers of tape I put on this, the harder it's going to be to get it all to sit down flat. So a few more minutes here. We got about 15 maybe tops. And so I will, let's see, let me cut some more of these 6mm here. So this is, in order to follow that line properly, this has got to go pretty much right here. And you see that this area right here, that's where that carbon fiber is going to stop, and then the dash starts. So, but once I go around this corner, because all this is going to be covered up by the body and the door panel, I don't need to get too crazy on the outside here. I will just go straight down from this point. Yeah. And then the rest I can just cover up. Okay. I'm not even sure how you would see the head unit, you know, the decal that's going to go in the head unit. And basically it's just a decal that says Lexus on it, because it's like when you first start the car up, it, you know, the whole system boots up and leaves a, you know, it has a logo, the Lexus logo or whatever. That's pretty much all you see, and that's what the decal is. It's kind of a burgundy color. It's not done in black because the actual screen was more of a decorative. It wasn't just black and white, you know what I mean? It was a color screen. So, all right. So I think I got to do the same over here, because there's that same side vent. So I want to take another piece of 3mm tape just to grab this corner of it and go straight back. Yep. Almost had it. There we go. I too have an Amazon store, but I don't get a lot of I don't get anything really from it. I mean, it's an influencer store. It's just I have to sponsor items, and I only sponsor the stuff that I use, which is model building stuff. So typically it doesn't get a lot of, I don't see a lot of return. I haven't even been, really, I haven't even been paid from it yet. Because I haven't made enough to even get, well, actually, no, I can't say that. I have gotten a little bit from it, but just doesn't get much traction because it's a kind of a niche market. I'm not putting stuff in there that has nothing to do with model building. I like to at least keep it all the stuff that would interest me. There's a few model kits in there too, but let's see here. I gotta go just like this. Same as that side. There we go. And I usually put the link for it in the description of the live stream, just in case anybody does want to check it out. And if you can find it, there's even a bag of M&Ms in there. Because who doesn't need candy every now and then when they're building, right? But that's it. That's the only real thing that doesn't technically have anything to do with scale modeling. I'm just covering up the rest of, masking off the rest of this that I don't want to get any black paint on. How much time we got? About 10 minutes. So anybody got anything special going on the rest of the week? Or is it just going to be another hump day tomorrow for everybody? I got to work, but then we'll be going to a shareholders meeting. So I actually got to come home. I got to pick up the wife and then go back into town. All right, almost done here. I got one more little piece, I think, to cover up on this corner. All right. So I think I've got enough. I think I've got this just about the way I need it. I'm not sure I like this, though. Don't like the way this 3mm is laying down. There, I guess that's better. All right, so now I've got all my masking on here. So now I can go and spray this all gloss black. And then it's just a matter of running another series of pieces of tapes and strips across this whole piece. And then I'll do the whole lower half in the tan color. There is some hand painting. There's a few little switches and greebles on the panel here, but a lot of that's not going to be easy to see because it's pretty much under the dash. And with the roof of this thing on, you're not going to be able to see much there. But I'll paint it anyway because I know it's there, and I want it. I want to be able to see it. So, all right, so just about ready to call this one. Yeah, I'm going to take hopefully my knife is sharp enough here. I'm going to try to just take the edge of this. Every time I get this piece of tape to settle right, one of them moves. Come on. This was a brand new blade, but I've been using it pretty. All right, there we go. Just had a little bit of overlap, had to trim it. Okay, then this center section here, that's where that the hood will go for the combo meter, so I don't need to worry about that. That'll get oversprayed, but who cares? It's going to be covered up with a piece of plastic. All right, let's see. So I might be able to. Oh, I've got this mask and ready for the next layer of paint. I can put it aside. I can install these radiators, maybe if we have time. About 10 minutes, 9 minutes, 10 minutes. All right, so there are some vents here. These have been painted in semi-gloss black. And they go in the rear. So this one is for, actually I need to just take that off. The suspension doesn't need to be there. So this, it's kind of a weird way it sits. It doesn't really have, they kind of just sit on top of the fender liners. There's a little bit of a notch where this is supposed to kind of sit. Just like that. I'm going to flip the page here because this actually shows them right here. Okay, so this is those little vents, and then I got the two radiators that go in here. So they kind of sit just like this. This is where it sits. And there's a little pin that kind of comes out of the bottom of it that I guess is an alignment pin. It doesn't go into a hole, but it stops this vent in a certain position. So I'm pretty sure that's exactly how it's supposed to sit. It just kind of has a little notch and then that pin. So it should sit just like that. And then the radiator goes on the back. So I guess I can glue these in maybe while we're sitting here. I might as well. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to hold this down and flip it over. And I'm just going to glue. There's this hole where that tab sits is right there, and I'm just going to get underneath that, put a little dab there, and then there's one more, that pin or dowel or whatever you want to call it, that sits. That's what keeps this in line. There's actually another one in the back that I can get if I go in there. I'm not going to be able to see in there anyway because yeah, there's not much to hold these on. So when I was first trying to fit these, I was like, there's got to be something I'm missing because it seemed really kind of just loose and wonky, but that's the way it goes. It fits into that there's this little triangular notch that fits into this slot. And then you got those two pins that just kind of come down, and that's what lines it up this way. You know, it's like it hits that fender liner, and that's what holds it. So I'm just going to pop this into this hole here like I did the other side. Hopefully not knock the damn thing off. There we go. All right. I guess that's how it goes. It's just the craziest little thing. There's like three points that it touches. And that's it. I think if I just let those sit, they will be just fine. I'm doing anything I want. Retirement is great. I forgot you're retiring. That's right, Julia. Probably do some work on the kitchen remodel, cleaning baseboards. Well, that sounds so fun. Oh, hump day through Friday, huh? That's for my brother. Together we roll. Together we roll is a live stream for those D&D lovers out there that might want to check out camaraderie and chaos that ensues with live action D&D. I guess would be the best way to describe it, maybe. If you've got something else to add to that, Dave, just go ahead and hit it. Otherwise, just another hump day, huh? That's what Cobra says. Yeah, it is just another hump day. And it's about time to wrap things up anyway. I'm doing anything I want, Julia says. Hump day through Friday. So are you off for the rest of the week, Dave? Or you're going to be up here? That's right, you're working. I think you're working close to me in town. But we're going to see each other this weekend. But I know the girls were supposed to talk today or tomorrow about what the plan is going to be. Just making sure these are sitting right. Looks like they are. So there's kind of these two rectangular tabs here, and that's where these radiators go on. They do go on a specific way. So this is up and this is on the left. So these will sit in those little rectangular areas right there. But I'm going to glue those on after I let those sit and dry first. I'm not going to worry about doing those today. Too much. Like I said, it's pretty flimsy. There's not a lot of contact points where these pieces, the biggest piece is that notch that goes through the fender, but then there's those two little kind of dowels that just sit there and it just rests on top. So there's only a few points of glue there that I want to make sure get nice and dried up before I start screwing around with it. You summed it up great. Music, 3D maps, and 6 cameras, all surrounded with comedy and mayhem. Yeah, check them out. Together we roll, and that is ROLE, not ROLL. And roll as in role playing. And yeah, I don't know how many videos these guys do a week, but it can be quite entertaining, I think, to say the least. Anyway, I am going to wrap things up, boys and girls. Let's see, it's about that time, 7:30 Pacific. Let me go back to zoom out a little bit here. You can see the mess on this bench. A lot of parts everywhere. I got parts on skewers, all sorts of crap going on. And there's my face, you know. So let me go back through the list here and say thank you to everybody that has joined in tonight. We got Brain Dead 101 from Twitch. Not sure where he went or why. I get kind of some weird characters from Twitch, and I'm not sure why, but Twitch just brings out some of the interesting folks that watch live streams. I mean, Twitch is pretty much a gaming platform, I think, for the most part. Seems like most people on Twitch are not like artists that are doing work like this. They're mostly streaming gaming and stuff like that. Then we got Julius and we got Nick. I left with questions. And Julius, Mr. I'm retired. I do what I want. And then we got Josh from Cobra. Plano, thanks again. Giovanni, thanks you so much for coming in. Appreciate each and every one of you. And as we go down, I got Together We Roll. That's my brother. Get to the chopper. That's right. Just do it. Quit screwing around. Get back to work. You got to get back to work. Yes, Julius, get to work. Don't clean your baseboards another time. All right. Up here from hotel room. Oh, okay. That's right. So you are in town. Cool deal. Cool deal. All right. Anyway, boys and girls, thanks so much for joining in and hanging out with me on this Tuesday. Next week, we'll be back to normal on Wednesday. So I'm pretty sure unless something drastic happens. But yeah. It'll be same time, same day as usual. Just occasionally we have to change things up a little bit. So, but anyway, be good humans. Thank you so much for those that joined in. I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. Like and subscribe, please, and hit the bell reminder. That'll make sure you guys get notified each and every time that I go live. And we'll see you again next week. It'll be part 4, and we'll see how much I get done for the rest of the week before next week. Maybe we'll have the dash and everything installed. We'll see where we're at. So we're going to keep plugging away, and yeah, we'll bring it to you live. So anyway, talk to you guys soon. Be good humans, and we're going to end this off. Play the